Hey, welcome to the channel. Okay, so instead of a regular book review, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I read and what I'm going to read. And so for the month of March, I read 2 books, and I'll tell you about those in a minute. And for the month of April, I plan on reading 2 more books, and I'll tell you about those after I'm done with the first 2. And so, yeah, I just thought this might work better. I couldn't decide between the 2 books which one I wanted to review, so I'm just going to do both of them. And so the first one is a book 1 of a trilogy, the War-Torn trilogy. It's called The Huntress, and it's by Kimberly Humphreys. I met her actually through her husband on Parler, and she's becoming a friend. And so, yeah, so this book is really good. It's like a dystopian future Earth kind of book. And I'll read you the back of it. It says, "Could you survive socialism? Will faith be enough? 2 weeks without rations. Kira only has 1 round left. She must hunt." And so the main character, Kira, is faced with a life and death situation. Something happens that changes her life, and she has to make a decision about it. And so, yeah, this is a great dystopian book. You know, it's the Earth. The Earth has gone through a war, and things aren't looking good. And so, hold on, I'm telling you. I really enjoyed this book because it had a lot of action in it. It had a lot of excitement. It even had a little bit of a love story in it. And what I really liked about it is that Kimberly was able to weave faith, her beliefs into the book in such a seamless way. It was so perfect. It wasn't too heavy. It wasn't too light. It was just enough of faith. And as most of you know that, whoops, that was my husband. Most of you know that that's what I write. I like writing books with faith. And so this is a really good book. It's clean. There's no gore. There's no sex. There's no, what do you call, I don't know. It's just clean. There's no cuss words. It's something that I would have to say that a child, probably it's a little heavier, I would think, than for grade schoolers. But I think older middle schoolers up through adults would love this book. But if you have a grade schooler who like devours books and stuff, this would be a good book for them if they're emotionally able to handle it, because it does deal with war, and it does have some situations that cause a lot of stress for the characters. And so you want to make sure that your kids are able to handle that sort of stuff. But yeah, so I give this 5 turtles. And so yeah, The Huntress, I would pick it up. I'll put the link below in the comment description. And so, yeah, so that's I keep looking at this screen because I have it up so I can remember what I'm reading. Okay, so that's the first book. And I will actually, I've already read the other 2 books, but I don't want to talk about them yet. I need to reread them. So the second book that I just finished was The Stolen Kingdom by Bethany, I hope I don't mess her last name up, Adazada. I think that's how she pronounces it. If not, I'm sorry. So this was a fun fantasy book. It's an Aladdin, you know, the story of Aladdin. It's a retelling of the Aladdin story, but it's set with different characters. Instead of Aladdin, the main character is Aries. She's a princess. And so I really enjoy. I just finished this one, so I'm still processing it, but I love this book. It was so much fun. The characters were light, refreshing. So let me just read you the back cover. It says, a dainty princess and a friendly genie are replaced with a tough heroine who fights back, and a magical race everyone fears in this addicting fairy tale twist on Aladdin. Princess Airy never expects to manifest a forbidden genie's gift. When she begins to hear the thoughts of those around her, she hides it to the best of her ability. But to her dismay, the gift is growing out of control. When a neighboring king tries to force her hand in marriage and steal her kingdom, discovery becomes imminent. Just one slip could cost her her throne and her life. A lamp, a heist, and a genie hunter's crew of thieves are her only hope for removing this gift, and she must remove it before she's exposed or die trying. Okay, so this has a lot of excitement, a lot of action. It has really nice plot twists in it. And I really appreciate how she changed. It's almost unrecognizable as Aladdin. If she hadn't told me that it was Aladdin, I wouldn't even have thought about it being Aladdin, because other than the lamp, it's different. And so she's put her own spin on it. And so, yeah, this one is really good too. There wasn't any cursing that I remember. Again, no sex, no gore, no violence, stuff like that. It's just a really fun fantasy book. And so I think this one, again, middle school and up, probably even grade school. I mean, it's a clean book. And so, yeah, I would really, those are my 2 recommendations for this week. Again, this one, The Stolen Kingdom, also gets 5 turtles. And so, yeah, I loved both of these books. I would encourage you to try them out. And I would look, once in a while, the authors will have a sale or a special. Honestly, I couldn't, at that point in time when I got the book, I was in between paychecks. It wasn't a good thing, so I wasn't going to be able to buy the book. But she offered it for free, and so I grabbed it while it was free, because this is the first book in her series. And I thought, okay, I'm going to, because I really don't want to spend a lot of money on books unless I really like them, and so I really like this one. And so eventually I'll be getting them in sorry, my husband's texting me. I'll be getting them in paperback form, but not right now. Yeah, so I like these books. The Huntress by Kimberly Humphreys and The Stolen Kingdom by Bethany Adazada. Okay, so those are the 2 books that I recommend. So where was I? Yeah, I got interrupted. My husband texted me about something. Okay, so those are the 2 that I recommend from the month of March. And again, I will only review or recommend books that I enjoyed and that I can personally recommend that my convictions and faith doesn't disagree with. And so those are 2 books that I definitely agree with. And so the first one that I'm going to read next week is called The Last Cuentista by Donna Barba Higuera. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I heard about this book from Murphy Napier from her new channel vlog, and so I thought it sounded really interesting. I will let you know about it next week. And then it's a middle grade book, so it's for middle grade, so I imagine that it's pretty clean. And so I know some people don't like the term clean, but for me, that helps me as it helped me a lot as a mom when I was raising my kid. And yeah, So the last Quintista is going to be my next book, and then I'm also going to read book 2 in the Stolen Kingdom series, which is by Bethany Adazeta. The Ginny Key, that's going to be the second one, and I'll put the image up. And so, yeah, so I will talk about those next week. The Ginny Key is a Little Mermaid retelling, so I can't wait to read that one. Mermaids, I love mermaids, always have. Funny story, when I was a kid, this is totally off the subject, but when I was a little girl, my sister and our neighborhood friends used to pretend like we were mermaids. And so what we would do is, I'm surprised that we didn't drown doing this. Don't do this at home, kids, if you're watching. So what we would do is we'd take sheets and we'd tie them around our waist and then wrap them around our legs. And my friend had a background pool that was an above ground pool. And so we would go into the water. I mean, we were like 7, 8 years old. We would go into the water and pretend like we were mermaids, but the sheets would get sopping wet. So all we would end up doing is clinging to the side because we couldn't swim with it on. Oh my gosh! But that was my fun. That was my mermaid retelling. So yeah. So I can't wait to read this one. So the 2 I'm going to read next week is the Ginny Key, a Little Mermaid retelling, and the last Quintista. So look forward to that next week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.